Attention, please.
Yo. 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 Yo.
Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Monday, December 30th, 2024. I'm Astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, thanks so much for being a part of HighVibe.tv. Truly appreciate it. Sorry I got sick this weekend. I do want to say, though, if you're not a part of HighVibe.tv, there is one more day left to get the one and done. I haven't brought out the annual subscription for 4 years. So you can get one and done, $99. It ends January 1st, and you get a whole year of HighVibe.tv and all the different content and access, whether it's to the apps, the website, the social media parts of it, all of it, except Premium Plus, of course, which is all the schools and the premium content stuff that you don't have to pay extra for if you're on Premium Plus. But this is the majority of what HighVibe is, and what most people have is this subscription. Make sure you go to HighVibe.tv. So, of course, we're going to be talking about this new moon that we got here. And sorry again that I'm sick. It's actually quite funny because I'm going to actually, I'll make this a little bit easier here. I love making the artwork for all these different horoscopes. And for this one, I had a good time because I was thinking about, you know, like, there's no more Pluto in Capricorn. This is the first new moon without Pluto in Capricorn, right? So it's a leak goat now who's no more enhancements are allowed, right? And all the girls are making fun of him at the gym. That's what I came up with. So if you think about it, there's no more enhancements allowed. So let's take a look at this and see where we get going here. So this new moon, of course, is going to be happening at 9 degrees of Capricorn in 43 minutes. Not many aspects at all. I mean, you can look at the sesquiquadrate to Uranus, and there's a separating semi-square to Venus at 2633 Aquarius, but that's it. So, you know, I always say whenever there's a new moon and we don't see major aspects with it, it's not to say that new moons aren't powerful enough to really start this next cycle, but it does without Pluto being here for the first time since 2007. I mean, like, really, there's no more Capricorn strength. There is no more Saturn energy that's extreme. If anything, Saturn, of course, in Pisces, which this is dispositing, is in a approaching sextile, but it's in Neptune sign Pisces, and Neptune is direct now, and we have that North Node Neptune conjunction getting closer. We have the North Node getting ready to come into Pisces, so this Saturn's overwhelmed at Pisces. And in many ways, the way that I just showed you that imagery, whether you want to use a goat that's no more, doesn't have the ability, but when you think of Capricorn, you think of ambition and you think of goal setting and so forth. When you have all this Pisces energy, where Saturn happens to be in Neptune, and no more Pluto, those are the things that aren't going to satisfy us fully anymore. And we've learned a lot, you know, like trying to be the biggest achiever in the whole universe ain't going to provide the deeper parts of your soul lessons. You know, I mean, we've evolved here very deeply, and especially the opposition to that has been Cancer, where Mars is getting ready to retrograde back into as we start 2025. So if you think about it, this new moon is kind of coming in and going, aren't there other parts to my life other than just work and goals and success? And I think it's a humbling new moon because Chiron just stationed direct less than 24 hours before this new moon. So Chiron just made its station and finally station direct. And it's in Aries, and we have Mars retrograde. So if you think about it, here in Leo, and it's ready for that opposition to Pluto that's coming on January 2nd, just days after this new moon. We also have Pluto that is now at 1 degree and 1 minute of Aquarius. So it's really like, whenever I see new moons without many aspects, it's like, okay, what's the bigger aspects happening around? It's almost like the new moon is kind of serving up this Mars opposite Pluto, right? Like it's like, here you go. And it's like, kind of like we're all here to watch, and you can't fully get a grip on everything right now. We got Mercury that's been in Sag forever, and it hasn't even left, the post shadow yet after being in retrograde. Remember, Mercury went retrograde at 22 degrees of Sagittarius, and it's been here all November, it's been here all of December and going into January, right? So we're coming on 2 months here of Mercury in Sag, and it's in its detriment. And, yes, it's in mutual reception with Jupiter retrograde that's in Gemini here, but this Mercury still has not made its square to Neptune yet in Pisces. So it's fuzzy, but, I think this is bringing us into this Mars retrograde much deeper and actually going, okay, I can't control everything, right? I can't try and maybe even outperform what I'm expecting to. I think it's much more about not trying to overly focus on some, whether it's ambition or goal, or more importantly, focusing too much on how to, whether it's to fix things with Pluto and Aquarius and Mars retrograde in Leo. We can't force anything right now. And so I think this is about understanding divine timing, understanding, in the moments that do come up, the right things happen. And you just have to live like that. This is going to be a new moon where it's going to carry over for this next month. And it's even more crazy because the next new moon will be with Pluto in Aquarius, and it'll be the first one that we've had. And plus one that comes after a Sun-Pluto conjunction, the first one in Aquarius, which will be at this 1 degree spot where Pluto's just arrived. So if you think about it, this is really the last new moon of the whole Pluto Capricorn cycle, even though Pluto's not in there. We haven't even initiated the Pluto and Aquarius cycle yet because we haven't seen the Sun conjunct Pluto in Aquarius yet. So to me, this is about where our heart space really is. And then, of course, that Mars getting ready to retrograde back into Cancer. And Cancer has been a very difficult zone for the last 16 years with Pluto in opposition, but it's also been the place to where we do have to look to it. It's the opposite point. It's the evolutionary point, right? It's like we've been evolving through, okay, what emotions, what things in my life are going to make me feel more at home? And also, how do I take care of myself better? But this Mars in Leo, finishing up here in Leo in a retrograde, and also this North Node in Aries finishing up and getting ready to come into Pisces here as we show up into 2025. And this trine, at least, is another one of the aspects. Chiron, of course, that just came direct. This is about, you're not going to try and use your buff energy, right, to try and win anything right now. Trying to use too much power, trying to force anything right now ain't going to do shit. It's much more about learning this timing, divine timing, and coming back to divine timing. Mercury, of course, not really at all well aspected except to Chiron. So I think the bigger picture here, that's still not one that Mercury can fully grasp, is it feels like, we're all kind of picking ourselves back up again. How many times? Millions. We have Venus that just finished its square to Uranus. I mean, this has been a lot of, us coming back to a version of ourselves that's evolved from where you came into this all in 2007 into 2008 and ready to see what's next. But this new moon is really a weird marker of we ain't right there yet. And talk about still feeling in between from other transits, but this one's a very, if you think about Capricorn, it likes to be the manager. And it's like the management system in our lives is really unknown of how to manage our lives fully right now, how to approach everything in the right direction. And it's maybe not so extreme. It's just more like, okay, I'm going to take a bit by bit. And Chiron here has humbled us deeply when it comes to our ego. Especially that was the last time you'll see Chiron station direct in your life in Aries while there was a North Node in Aries, right? So while Mars is retrograde too, dispositing both. You'll never see that in your life again. So if in many ways this is us licking our chops, okay? And I think that this is more about, okay, that there's still a lot of pondering and a lot of questions and a lot of trying to understand things, but you have to remember with this Mercury and Jupiter that happen to be in opposition that are finishing up, the big square to Saturn, the Jupiter-Saturn square, this is really like, hey, understanding this whole story is by living it and taking every fact, every moment by moment, and allowing things to shift as they naturally do instead of forcing shifts. I really feel this new moon is about setting this new precedent of like, all right, it might feel like there are big things that we're up against, whether it's just our own energy. This can be very draining still with this Mars retrograde, add Pluto opposition that's coming in the days following this, Chiron that's been retrograde that finally stationed direct, North Node still, and Chiron. Remember, Chiron also is at the degree where the sun is exalted in Aries at 19 degrees. It's also where we had the total solar eclipse that was back in April this year. April 8th, right? So if you think about it, like this has been a year where all the subconscious and not intentional either, like maybe for some people still hold on to masks of their own kind and their own persona. But this is like anything that's just been more of a kind of an enhancement that we thought would work. It doesn't work anymore, right? So that's a good thing because I feel like we don't need to enhance part of ourselves. We just have to be part of ourselves, and we don't have to take things extremely seriously. And that's the weird part, is that things can actually come together a lot easier now the less we put energy in. Now we have to still keep responsibilities, but there is no way that if you look at this astrology, there's still a lot to ponder. There's still a lot of this story we don't know. We have node shifting here in the weeks ahead. We have massive transits that are going to be some of the most extreme of our lives. And 2025 will be the most extreme year of our life ever. This is not a time to use that extra enhancement you think, or whatever. You might not even realize that you have that. Like for me, I'm sick. It took me hours to get this computer in my house working. And it was just like, okay, if it happens, it happens. I ended up making it happen, but it just is what it is. I mean, like, it's life. Am I going to try and force myself to do all these extra things? I'm not going to do it. No. Not until I get better. So, this is definitely a time to just remember that even with Saturn that's in the approaching sextile, Saturn's teaching us that how we step into our authority, how we have these responsibilities. Is like, what stuff do we need to let go of? One, but also how do we just, it's easy to say find the flow, but it's like it's more to me like living in the moment, where's spirit bringing us, what's naturally falling apart and letting it fall apart. What's naturally happening and not trying to overly change things too much. I think this is us realizing that, yes, change happens, and yes, we can step into change. And we've learned that very intensely over the last 16 years, stepping into the role in our life or stepping into things that we have to, take a decision on to actually make something happen is important. But is it as important right now as how intense that you do that? I don't think so. I think it's just coming back to like, okay, you've learned that really well. Execute decisions when you need them, but you don't need to be spending that extra time, trying to always outmaneuver or always have everything so in order. It's a messy time. Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, right? But at least Saturn in sextile, it's approaching. Things are going to get crazy with the Mars opposite Pluto. But I think that craziness is more if you're trying to push too hard, and it's a very weird time because we all have our own happy needs. We all have our own ways that we want to be seen, but we also have, a world in which, do you need to go prove yourself to other people? Do you need to have everybody understand your point of view? Do you need to have everybody, like you? I mean, we have to find a nice balance with that. We're really now moving into, this new moon is helping us start to see it's not about this Capricorn anymore. It's about this Aquarius energy, and for this moment, it's about this Leo energy. And I think that it's like, okay, this is where we're going to see a lot more of the energy now. And that's totally different. It's much more extroverted. It's much more understanding, where your happiness lies and what actions do you take and how do you, can you identify just as being happy? Does it have to have an enhancement of, well, I'm only happy when I have the job. I'm only happy when I'm successful. I'm only happy when this person likes me. I'm only happy when, because that Pluto is a huge part of what's happening with this Mars opposition. Plus, Mars is an aspect to the nodes, right? And that nodal shift's coming very soon. That it's like whenever something's going to show up, that Mars trining the North Node is like, you're ready to do whatever is necessary when it shows up. It's more about just understanding. It's not that there's a problem as much as it's just divine timing when things happen. And there is a slowness. Venus, of course, slowing down, getting ready for the retrograde of Venus that comes after this Mars retrograde. But we're going to see Venus slow down. We also are getting ready for Venus to come into Pisces and be with Saturn, be with Neptune, and it's going to be with those and that North Node for a long time, okay? So Venus is also getting prepared. So when it comes to our relationships and money and so forth, I think it's more important to like go, okay, what are the more important things in my life right now? The things that make you happy, your happiness, your heart, your family, because that Mars, we're getting ready to come back to see it in Cancer where it's at fall position. This is much more about our personal life and needs and the success of that. And the way for us to take care of ourselves much better actually achieves the goal better. And a lot of that comes to just like when things naturally, divinely happen. You're ready to do whatever is necessary. It's just waiting for the time. So patience is a huge one. And also with Saturn here and Neptune and Pisces, it's just like, hey, it's not going to just be all cleaned up and all figured out right away. We're in extreme patient times. And you know what? Take the little wins. I don't think that this is about a big win. This is about, hey, you had a good day. You had a good hour. It's about these things in life that we have to start looking back at is like, just because, and this could bring up people who are obsessed with like feeling like they're a failure, or if this doesn't happen, you'll be a failure. There's always a way. So I think that a lot of this is like the more that you attach a fear or the more that you attach that old enhancement, like I need to prove myself. I need to be the big goat that proves that I'm like big at the gym, right? Or something like that. That Pluto's gone. Right? So this goat's looking over like, nobody does like me because that's not who I really am. I'm trying to be something I'm not. And I'm not saying that you are, although that can come up with this Mars and Leo in retrograde opposing Pluto, right? Are you being somebody that you're really not? Are you trying to go after something that you're really not? Or it's re-looking at things and being like, who am I really? Like, why do I do that? Do I have to do it that way? Do I have to be doing this anymore? Like, what are the things that really define who you are on a deeper need without it being about whether it's trying to impress, whether it's trying to feel like you're finding your place in the world or society. You know, that Capricorn energy deals with that societal placement, right? Where we get attached to, oh, hey, this is, you know, what's your role in life? What's your destiny? What's your purpose? And I think that it's okay to get back to a place where your purpose doesn't have to be defined. You don't even have to talk about it to people. People don't have to know it. You have to just do what's good for you. What's good for you, your life, your family. And there's a lot of amazing and radical and crazy things that we still have to process here. There is nothing for sure except for the things that are deeply connected in our heart. And even with that, with Pluto, people can change their minds. So you have to come into this time where there is no stability except for the stability of, like, in yourself, knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be successful because you'll follow your true self. And if a bad thing happens over these weeks, well, then you'll know how to face it because you're not doing it solely off success, and you're not doing it solely off to impress people. You're doing it because you just have to do what you have to do for yourself. And so, you know, this is part of the deeper lesson. You know, a lot of people are going to go through a lot of extreme changes here. And this is this Capricorn energy. Like, do you know how to make sure that you keep the ship uptight? And do you know how to keep the ship straight? Do you know how to make sure that you just keep staying afloat through these things and staying on track? Even when things come in and possibly take them away, or even the cool part is make things better. But there is no more enhancement allowed. So anybody obsessed with their job too much, they're going to look weird. Right? Like now that Pluto's gone, when you're obsessed with, oh my God, work and I need to be successful. I'm not saying don't be, but I'm just saying the obsession with it, the overwhelmingness of trying to be it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore. You can walk next to a billionaire and be like, whatever. Doesn't matter. With Pluto in Aquarius now, it's like, this is a weird new moon because it's signaling, hey, yeah, there is no more new moons with Pluto in Capricorn. Even last year there was one, right? So we've had Pluto in Aquarius, but haven't had every new moon in Capricorn's been with Pluto in Capricorn. So this one's really weird too. Last time that we had a new moon that was really close to being on the new year was quite a while ago. It was like 2013 there was that one, and then we were coming into the new year with a new moon on New Year's of 2014. That was during a Venus retrograde in Capricorn. And then, of course, it was back in 2006, which I think that goes really along with, no, that was, so it would be one more year back. Yep. So if you could see right there, that sun, that moon coming in on December 30th, 2005, and that was the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. So we've been here before. But that was a Venus retrograde at the 0 point of Aquarius with Chiron there. And so Pluto's bringing that up. So in many ways, this is us also on a larger level, because remember that the nodes, they serve to the pleasure of the sun and the moon. And so with the nodes in square to this new moon, right, we're the farthest away from the eclipses. But it's us also going, we are leaving that set of eclipses from this fall and getting ready for the ones in the late winter and early spring, and that it's going to be different nodes. So it also is bringing back, when was the last time the nodes were here? Because we always look back 19 years. And it's like, where were you at the end of 2005 and in 2006? And because like this, that will bring up some weird stuff with Pluto here, and Mars going to oppose it. I mean, I'll never forget, man, my life was insanity at that fucking time. I was on meth. I was doing meth at raves by myself. I was fucking way out of it. That Venus was opposite my sun, Chiron, and fucking Aquarius, supposedly my sun. I was fucking out of it. And I ran into 2006 like that energy for a long time. And then in June of 2006, I got sober. Now, I've been sober a long time. I don't even drink or smoke weed or anything like that for over a decade. But I think for me, it's like, you know, it brings up like, you know, I've become like kind of a workaholic. I'm sick. So you got to kind of look at where were you at that time? And I was working then too, which is crazy. I had a full-time job. I was still doing that shit every day. Every night. Getting an hour of sleep. Or getting woke up by my buddy who worked with me. The boss would send him to my house. Wake me up. I'm like butt-ass naked fucking in my bed. Like, what the fuck happened last night? Like, that was who I used to be, believe it or not. So it takes us back that far. The last time that you can really get to these kind of things. And then, of course, there's Mars opposite Pluto. If you watch my Leo King Live, I put it up on YouTube and I put it up on High Vibe, of course. I go into how far back it's been since we've seen Mars retrograde in Leo to oppose Pluto in Aquarius and then come back with Mars retrograde into Cancer. It's been 3,910 years since 1886 BC. So in many ways, you know, we're in many old cycles coming to closes right now, and we have to let those things close before that we find the success of what they are. The success now is the things that we close in old parts of ourselves. Even with that Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces, it's like the more that you can just keep closing the past, the better, and letting go of it. And stop trying to compare yourself. Of course, it's good to learn the lessons from the past, right? That's what the past is about. But I really do feel that it's much more important to let things go right now and to find compassion for yourself and not be too hard on yourself anymore. That's the other thing about Pluto. We've been so hard on ourselves, and that can make us hard on others. And that Mars retrograde in Leo can get really fired up. I know there's been a lot of people pissed out there in the world and people acting out. Just do your best to remember these are crazy times and they're going to get really crazy. So stay on your path and do the best you can. And that's all I can give you right now because I'm super sick. So let's pull a card here. All right. I have cards here somewhere. There we go. I'm not even using green screen. With all the technology now, you don't even need a green screen. Fucking. You have a good GPU? Fucking. Hello? You don't need no green screen. No, it's okay. You know, that shit happens. I got sick. It's life. Thanks for the love. I appreciate it. It's been a year, you know. And, you know, the worst part was yesterday. I woke up with the worst sore throat in my life. I was like, is this going to be forever? And I'm already now on the runny nose and the cough. So it's like, okay, it's moving. And I take all homeopathic stuff. I take like elderberry, zinc, vitamin C, water. Believe it or not, I'm drinking water. You know, and I have the love of my wife and my daughter. So It was so, my wife took a picture as I was trying to set this up. I'll post it. It's really is, the best medicine. Like this is why I'm happy Pluto's out of Capricorn, because it's like success is cool. Trust me, I know success is cool. You're talking to a motherfucker who's been very successful in life, but it doesn't mean shit. Here we are. Let's put that in downloads. There we go. All right. Such a weird system I'm using. I know how to do this. All right. No. Huh. Okay, I'll do it that way. Motherfucker. Huh. It's now disappeared. It's wonderful. That's crazy. Who's had it? It's fucking gone. Wow. I'm flabbergasted. Oh, I think I can do it this way. Fuck. What up? Not in my game. It's life. Ah, yes. Here it is. So, this is my new medicine now. Me trying to get this computer going at home, sick, and I can't even describe to you just how, that's all you need. That's more successful than any success anywhere. Sophia just took that. That's not even staged. It's just Aurora coming up and playing and wanting to give love to her dad as I'm fixing a PC in this fucking office at our house to do this fucking live. So I have another baby on the way, a son. All right. Let's see here. Remember, let's not forget either. I'm not too feeling bad for shamelessly plugging that this sale I am ending in a day and a half here on January 1st. It's over. You want High Vibe for the cheapest rate? One and done. $100 for a whole year. That's 12 months. It's less than $10 a month. And you get everything except the Premium Plus stuff. But 90% of people don't have Premium Plus, so you get all the deep astrologies and all the dailies and all the access to social media stuff and have your profile and post videos, do whatever you want and have combos and watch all the shows and be part of full disclosure. The link down below here on YouTube or on highvibe.tv, and you click annual subscription, actually gives you a full lowdown. And also I made a page that describes to you all the membership benefits that makes Patreon people look weak. Like, they don't give you shit on Patreon. Nobody's doing anything on Patreon. Anybody who's selling you Patreon's ripping you off. All right. And I'm cheaper than them. And I'm better. All right. 9 of Pentacles with the Devil. It's so funny because I was like, I just had this whole Capricorn talk about, you know what? Some people are not going to like this message, but it's just honesty. Is it really about your manifestation right now? Is it really about how well you draw things in? If it's a nefarious thing, like, what is really necessary right now? Stay with that. I think when you're trying to go too far and you're trying to reach for too much, have too much, it's just like it's got some, what we're purging is that darker shadow within us. And also something that makes us feel more trapped. And, you know, the devil to me is always the trap. It's like you think it's feeling good, but no, it's not. It's like being just chained to something that you never want to be. And it's the lovers that are chained anyway. And you know, the Nine of Wands, or Nine of Pentacles, she's always very independent, but she also finally has to find her skills, and then she knows how to draw energy in. She's very focused on her beauty and her manifestation. And this is not, it's like, we already know all that. Let's like focus on things that have some real depth here. And you watch with this Mars retrograde in Leo, like, people can see through if you're wearing a mask and trying to be somebody that you're not with this Capricorn energy. Like, it's over. Anybody trying to be too cool, or anybody trying to be, oh, look at me, I'm the man, I'm the girl, I have the most successful thing in the whole universe. Like, fucking, like, it doesn't fucking matter. Nobody gives a flying fuck. So use this new moon to really focus on the beautiful things that naturally are coming together, that you don't have to push so hard anymore. Of course, there's moments when that Mars retrograde, trine North Node, Chiron now direct, you'll know when to move towards something. It's just better show up in the right way, not trying to force it. That's when that devil's going to come in, that chain, and feeling stuck, and more importantly, even parts of yourself that aren't even really you coming out. Don't be using enhancements. Remember, this goat definitely is using enhancements now that it can't. One and done. Ends in a day. You got today the 30th and tomorrow the New Year's Eve, and then on New Year's Day it's over. I appreciate you all very much. Thanks for all the support for another amazing year of 2024 here, and I'm still going. I love you all very much. Thanks so much. Much love to you, your family, all your friends and loved ones, and we'll make it through 2025. This, you know, it's going to be the wildest year of all time, but there is some badass shit that comes with that. Much love, much appreciated. I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Yo. Okay. Monster.